Hi. Hello. How are we all? I hope you're doing well, everybody. Mimi and Blair and Barry, I hope you're good. I know I've spoken to some of you at length today, but I hope you're doing well. Yes. You guess it's fine in the sense you're getting paid to sit around, and not fine in the sense you could play Dragon Age. That's fair. Oh. Hi, Mimi. Kind of slays in black and white. Gotta be honest. The Gordon slay. Hi though. Not hi. I've already spoken to you. But hi anyway. But Barry, thank you for subscribing with Prime. I appreciate it. Oh my god. And yes, 9 months as well. Insert any jokes you want to make now, but yes, I do appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks, friend. Thanks for being here. So ask the obligatory, what are we naming it, Barry? What are we naming the Twitch baby? I've never asked that on my channel before. But you know. But yes. I missed something from Mimi, didn't I? Yeah, the sense you could be playing Dragon Age instead. That kind of sucks. I feel like I've not had a job that's properly like that. Like, there are times when there's no customers in and I stand at the tills. But, like, yeah. I don't know if that would hit for me or not. I feel like I would start to go a bit of it's such a small amount of work, but you're tired. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm sorry, friend. Well, when you get out of work, have the biggest rest. No pressure to hang later, but I should still be live by the time you're home, I'm sure. So, yeah. Yes. There was another thought and I've lost it. Do it, Barry, do it. I always say do it. What colour would you do this time, Barry? Yeah, I've still got my black ones on the black and white filter, but like I've still got my black ones on, and literally apart from just one nail, fuck you. Apart from just one nail, they've really held up well. I'm super impressed with them. Because like I've been doing moving and lifting and carrying at work, and they're thriving still. The blue's dead, so it either needs to come off or you need to redo them. That's fair. Would you redo them the same colour? I'm not a big nail painter. Fair. I'll paint your nails, Barry. Should we do that? Should we have like a trade-off? You do... Well, I'll paint your nails if you do literally everything else for me. How about that? I'm going to have to take my nails off soon, though, because I'm going back to see family. I do a better job. Right. So, customers do talk to me about my nails sometimes. And you know what I'm noticing now? Is customers will say, "Oh, I really love your nails. Do you do them yourself?" Yes, I do them myself, thank you. It's always like, "Do you do them yourself?" Like, I know what they mean, but like, oi, yes, I do them myself, thank you very much. Thank you. Am I left-handed? No, I'm not left-handed, I'm a normal person, I'm sorry. I feel like I didn't know you were left-handed. Huh. The more you know. The more you know. But no, I am indeed right-handed. You can carry on blaming it on being a lefty. Well, hang on though. Barry, that maths is not mathsing. Because no matter what, I paint one hand with my dominant hand, and what... That makes no sense, Barry. I paint my nails with my left hand and my right hand. Like equal measure, I use both hands to paint my nails. What are you on about, Beb? What are you on about? You have a tummy ache. Oh, I'm so sorry, friend. I'm so sorry. Left-handed people do everything dodgy. That sounds like a skill issue. Like, that sounds like a you problem. Sorry. But yeah, no, I hope it's just a little passing tummy ache. Where'd the colours go? Hi, Sabine. Hi. I hope you're doing well. The colours the game we're playing at the moment, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, is a very muted game in terms of colours. So we're embracing Lorelei and the Laser Eyes at the moment. I've had people living in a right-handed world. I'm sorry for the oppression you face, but you're just a little freak of nature. I'm sorry. Oh shit. Genuinely did not mean to pin it, but it can stay there. We can have that. Why not? Yes, the game I was like so hyped about. We've been playing that. We played it last stream, which was 2 days ago, I think. But yes. So wow, the thought just left my head. Yeah, so I was really enjoying it last stream, and we're doing it again today, and yeah, I'm real happy. Okay. Left hand says feck you. It's my right hand, if you couldn't tell. Did you miss any story? There's the whole point of the game is you discover the story. It's not so much like Leighton, where you're like driving in your little car and you're like, I've received a letter from the lady of the manor. It's not like that. It's yeah. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. That's what the game is basically. That's a right hand. Let me view it a bit bigger. Middle finger. That's a right hand, I think. Yeah, that's a right hand. I'm sorry. Sorry, Barry, but that is a right hand in that emote. Sorry to have to tell you that. But yes, you say hi to everyone now, Sabine. Hi. To be fair, I do know some cool left-handed people. Twinkly Tor is left-handed. And, like, I don't give her any shit for it because she's Twinkly Tor. She's allowed. And my dad's left-handed as well. But, no. I love this music. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, you can't tell the colour of the lights. They could be red and green for all you know. But I do still put the projector on because I think it's cool. It gives me something to look at. But yes. I didn't ask. Sabine, how are you, lovely? How are you doing? I hope things are good. I hope you're doing well. I know when we spoke you have a few days off this week. I hope you're enjoying those. Yeah. I love this music. It's so nice. Okay. I saw as well that Nintendo is doing a Super Nintendo World Direct for the Donkey Kong thing, and it's in 35 minutes. They've like done this out of nowhere. But things are a bit busy at work because of reasons, but they're getting settled down soon. Oh, I hope so. I hope so, because that sucks when it gets like busy for no reason. I say for no reason, for whatever reason when it gets busy. It's getting busy at the moment in work, but it's my week off, so it's not my problem. Yes. I'm happy about that. You'd me. Also, yes, as quite a few of us are assembled right now, just to be putting this out there, I do think the Leighton movie night is going to be tomorrow night. Yes, yes. So, get ready for that. Oh, speaking of work, oh god, go on. What if it when taking on responsibility results in more and different responsibility? Oh, that sucks, friend. Like, I'm proud of you for taking on the responsibility, because that's very good. That's disgusting. It's a Tuesday. Huh. Do you know what's... Genuine question. Do you know what's in the delivery? Is it like the new stock? Is it Christmas? Is it stationery? Okay, right. But we haven't shifted the old... We haven't got rid of the old... Oh, that's... I'm so glad I'm off. I'm so glad. Actually, that's not a you problem either. Oh, I'm so happy for both of us, Barry. I'm so happy for both of us. Oh, wow. But yes, for Sabine, I'm excited for the Leighton movie night. Very excited. It's going to be very good. Because I watched it one time, and that's it. And this was like yonks ago since I last watched Leighton. Don Paul has made it his problem. Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. You still haven't watched it? Oh, that's so good. Why has he done that? Has he just monopolised it for himself because he can't let anyone else handle things? Well, that's on him. But yes, I'm so excited as well. I can't remember basically anything about it. I don't think at all, so it's going to be so good. Could somebody, either while I'm live or just at another time and let me know, I made, in my Discord server, I made a new voice channel called Movie Night. Could somebody at some point just join that and just confirm that it mutes you when you come into it? So, if anyone wants to do it now, I promise I'm not in the chat. It wouldn't play your voice on stream. You should be muted anyway. There's no one else in the chat. If anyone wanted to do that, just like quickly hop in and let me know. That would be cool. Or any other time, we can just figure it out tomorrow because yes, that will be good. But, yes, I think that's our plan. I think he didn't intend for it to happen, but I think he did for his own reasons, not knowing about the delivery. Oh, Wounder. Wounder for Don Paulo. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. You order stuff today for work, and for once don't have to unpack the shit because you're off tomorrow. Ooh, is it like food and drinky stuff? Does that come like next day? That's really good. That is very good. Don't even have permission to speak in the server. Oh, what? Is that wrong? Can you not just type anything in the main bit of the server? Have I broken something? Just in like the main bit of the server, like have a natter. Can you not speak in there? Oh no. I'll have to have a look. When you join it mutes you, that's good. I do want it to do that. Because like, no. Well, I assume that's what we all want to do. I assume we all want to type in a text chat rather than VC. I'm down to VC. Oh, okay, that's not so bad, but I will have to fix that. Because if I join that thing and nobody talks, oh, that would be a bit sad, wouldn't it? Perhaps you now can. I've overridden it, apparently. Of course, it's off time for base coat, then we consult the cabinet. Ooh, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. I need to put all my nail varnishes away. I keep taking one out, using it, and then just putting it down, like there. So they've just expanded. They're just dotted about there. So it's messy, I'm sorry. But you know. Your side leave work like 5 minutes early? Well, memers, the question is, who would pick up on that? Do you clock out? Do you have to walk past anyone on your way out? Because if the answer to both of those are no, out the door, go on. But if you have to clock out, or if you have to walk past a desk on your way out, then maybe stay, because you've only worked there 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, just in case. But you know what the vibe is better than we do, so yeah. See what the feeling is. No. I got fed up with Donkey Kong music. I did not click out. Literally, see one of the personal day. Oh, fuck it. Off you go then. See ya. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Can't relate. Sorry. Yeah, no. Fuck that then. Off you go. Go on. Pack it in. Just go home. Come hang with us if you want to. Come hang with us. We can vibe and talk about puzzles and stuff. Be free, yeah, be free. Right, shall we play some game? Shall we do this? Because I'm excited to continue this story. Because, like, I don't know what's happening, and I want to know. Okay, you're going to hear a Windows noise in a moment. If anyone is watching on PC, it's me, not you. There we go. Okay. Let me... Oh, I should have opened Steam first. Sorry. Clocking out of big old job to clock in his snow mod job. Oh, yes, yes. Mimi is not getting paid. But is mandated to be here. Absolutely. So curious what the game's like. It's spooky. Like, ooh. It's not scary, but it's like, ooh. Yes! It's so good. What, like just replace them with me going, and me going like, is that what you want? Is that what you want from me? Who knows, perhaps. Okay. So, particularly for Sabine then, this is the game. So we're playing as our girl. I forget what her name is. Hello. We have... Aren't you failing raising puzzles? I sort of... I didn't know this was a thing. I've not found too many, like, puzzles in, like, the latent sense. It's more things like this, where I'll walk up to a door, and it'll give me, like, this, and I've got to code break my way through it. Like, what's it gonna be? I don't know. What's the combination? Let's say it's, like, that. It wasn't that. Okay. There's a lot of that going on. But, yes, as... happened last stream, we went out here at the end of last stream. This was, we go out here, and when the camera moves, Dedge. So if I remember rightly, it said call the guy whose name I've forgotten. What is it? What do I have to do? Oh, I have to tell him about the dead person. Oh. She's taking a nap in a weird place. She is. She is indeed. I found something over here, didn't I? A crank or something. I can't do anything with this. Basically, yes, for Sabine, the game doesn't really tell you anything. I don't know what's happening. Oh. There's a hole in the forehead of the statue. I don't have anything for it. Frank? No, okay. Insert something into the... That's a weird phrasing. Insert something into the horse in the backyard. Oh. North, south, east, west. Oh, that's very cool. I don't know if our girl is Lorelei. I don't think she is. I think she's got a different name. Ooh. Key in the tree. I obtained the E-shaped key. Cool. It's bolted from the other side. Oh, money! E, yes. Okay, so one thing that this game does do... Oh. Yeah, no. Is it gives us little things on the wall. So, like, you see on the left... Oh, you kind of actually can't really see it. But there's a puzzle there. And I'm curious. Okay. Also, it recommends you to play with actual paper. So I'm going to make some little cheeky notes. And this maths out. Oh, damn, I know, right. So. Gate. So. N equals 4. S equals N divided by N, which equals 1. West, I'm going to come back to, because it's E minus S. And E is north plus north, which equals 8. So 8 minus 1 is 7. Okay. Let me see if... Wait, but I don't know what order it wants me to put them in. Oh, of course you did. Of course you did, Mimi. Of course that's how it happened. Let's try... 4, 1, 7, 8. Nope. 4, 1, 7, 8. No. Oh yeah, no, I hope they were nice. That's very true. No. I think I'm going to have to come back to that because I don't know the order that it wants. 1847. Something's going on with the number 1847 because it was the code to get into the garden. They're displaying it here for me. They had correspondence with the last person in your position. Oh no, that sucks. I feel like that's been your whole job so far, hasn't it? Wait, but then there's that in the middle. It has been, yeah. No, I thought I had an idea then, but I don't have it. You think you're good, then like boom, then somebody calls you and is like, What are these doors? Oh, shit. Oh, I can't get in them. Right, okay. So, horse with a scythe, horse with scales, horse with a sword, horse with 2 arrows. See, this is what I don't understand about this game. I don't know what I'm doing. Another person that we have. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Right, that's going into the horse. So if I do all 4 of those, something might happen. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's so fine. It's so okay. Right, the other thing I did want to look at quickly. First layer of the nails. Yippee! Let's go. Oh, what colour? Yes. Yes. What colour, Berry? What did you choose? And also show me, please. Right, there's a sledgehammer here with red paint on it. This hole blocks the way. Oh, I don't want to jump down. No. There's an American dollar crumpled up under the hammer. Stonks. I'm pretty safe with the shimmery pink. Ooh, cute. Love that. Right, so I can jump down the hole. Should I jump down the hole, friends? I feel like I have to. Whee! Oh. I was sent to pick the polish, but not your paint job. You're insecure. Oh, you got this. But that's so okay. Yes, show me that. This is weird. There's a cube-shaped hole in the crucifix. Okay, I don't have whatever item that is. There's something in the altar crucifix. Okay. Okay. Cube-shaped hole in the frame. No. It's always messy, but the colour makes you happy. Yeah, that's so good. A confessional. Oh no, a voice inside the confessional. No thanks. May the Lord be in your heart and help you to confess your sins. Damn, I've been up to a lot of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. This is such a small sin. Is this really what you meant to confess? This is barely a sin. Is this not what you meant? This is not what you meant to confess, is it? What is blasphemy? If that's what you meant. That is tough. Without Googling it, that is tough. But it's like speaking. Oh, chat box isn't black and white. Sorry. Boop. There you go. Color jail. No. It's like speaking against something, like speaking against a belief. I don't know. Where's my phone? There. I'm sorry. You have to be in color jail as well. It's for the aesthetic. Blasphemy, the action or offense of speaking sacrilegiously about God or sacred things. Yes, okay. Oh. Such small sins happen. I've done that. This is not your real sin. Theft. This is barely a sin. This is not your real sin. Right. Such small sins happen. He's like, I don't care. Right, okay, fine. Fine, I've allegedly murdered someone. Yes, yes. Tom Nook approving, okay. God, the Father of mercies, though the death and resurrection of his Son has reconciled the world to himself, and sent the Holy Spring among us, the forgiveness of sins. Though the ministry of the church, may God give you pardon and peace. Through the ministry of the church, may God give you pardon and peace. And I absolve you from your sins. Feels like I've seen worse. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, path to the truth shall open. Oh no. No? Forgive me, señorita. They hide the secret buttons very well. Let's see, it must be this one. Oh, I don't know if I want that. But okay. Right, let me finish up with this as well. Okay, it's a Bible. I saw a horse as white as the moonlight, and the rider presented herself pestilentia. In her hands was a bow, and its arrows were filled with dirt and blood from the sick. The second rider was named Bellum. She rode a horse red as blood. A great sword was given to her, so she set out to destroy peace among men. Then I saw a third horse. It was black as the night, and the rider was known as Fames. She carried a pair of scales, and with her misery and starvation followed. A fourth rider came from the land of the dead, presented herself as Mors. Her horse was pale, she carried a scythe. Okay, on the doors in the back garden, we saw a horse with arrows, a horse with a sword, a horse with scales, and a horse with a scythe. Let me write that down. That's an order. Okay. Arrows, sword, scales, scythe. Cool, okay. There was an American dollar stuck between the pages. Ka-ching. Oh, these are the names. Oh, okay. That changes things slightly. Ah. I don't know what it would have been called. Probably a document? No. Hmm. Oh. If I put the E key in there, because there's supposed to be an E where the hole is. Nope. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the cubes. And I don't know what that is either. Okay. Very puzzling. Right, let's leave. Yeah, let's leave. Film poster the dogs. The dream. It's locked. Ah. Right. I don't know a way out then. Because that is the only way out. Oh. What have I got? Hearts, a key. Right. There's no one in there. I don't know how to get out of here. Deadwood's key, maybe. Nope. I am, in fact, stuck. Oh. Oh. Just an American dollar. This might be my first Google, because I've got literally no idea, I'm afraid. I do not have a clue. Oh. Oh, you're not in control here, Barry. What are you talking about? I'm already Googling away. Fuck you. Ew, I Googled crypt and my phone auto-corrected to crypto. Is that where I am? Does it tell me where I am? Oh, Secret Chapel. Secret Chapel. Secret Chapel. Reddit? There's a whole subreddit for this game, apparently. That's good. I know, the stress level menu. I love stress level, and then behind chat box and behind me, we got caffeine and bladder as well. Also, hi, Shuckle. Hope you're doing well. Oh, I've tapped out. Yeah, hope you're doing well. Hi. I don't know if you were lurking last stream. We were playing Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Like a different puzzle game. I'm like, ooh. Excited. Is this The Sims? Yes, apparently it is. Right. I might just be stupid. Hey, don't say might, Berry, like that. That's just rude from you. Also, thanks, Shuckle. The duality of Twitch chat, truly. I do not understand. And Google's not helping me. Thanks, Barry. I really feel it right now. No, I appreciate you. You're good. You know, let's try the good old. Never fails me. What was it? 1874 or 47? 47. Damn. Give her an espresso. Genuinely, Sabine, you see me moving around. Apparently, if you have a coffee, you start to run. Apparently. I've not experienced that yet. But according to my calculations... According to my information, I mean. How to get out of Secret Chapel. Secret Chapel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. But what if I don't have... Besties, it's saying use these items, but I don't have the items. But surely they don't just expect me to reset the save. Or reload the save, sorry. That's the issue I'm having, Sabine. I don't know of any way to get back out. Right, now there must be a way out. There must be another way out of here. Shit. Oh my god. There's an arrow on the floor pointing right this way. That's not funny. That's not funny. I'm just back in the hotel. I don't want to talk about it. Right, how did I get out the back? Was it this way? I think it was. Oh, it was. Yeah, okay. Right. There's nothing I can do to interact with these doors. No, I can't interact with them. Ooh. American dollar, nice. Am I in the backyard? Okay. This is something that I don't understand. 1847, yeah. Oh, hang on. Jockey meal time. Let's go, Barry. You enjoy. Sorry, you said that a minute ago, I think. Oh, no, you didn't. Okay, cool. Yes, I hope you enjoy your jockey milk. Did you eat any food, Barry? Because I swear to God, you better had. Right. So, we've cracked... Yes, okay, good. Good, I'm happy for you. Right. I've had some inspo. So we've decoded what all of the numbers mean. N is 4, S is 1, W is 7, and E is 8. So following then that grid, we have 4, top middle, 1 is down there, 7's over there, 8's over there. So what's the pattern there? Wait, oh. Oh, that was a bit dumb of me. Okay, there we go. Got it. Got it. Ooh. Crystal ball, yes please. Also, is that the Atlas from No Man's Sky? The voice echoes from within the crystal. I see your destiny. This looks so cool. I see islands. Caves. Your tragic fate leads you to an island far away. Sulawesi. In the cave where this started thousands of years ago. Do you wish to hear more? Yes. The year is 1982. You will wander. The path of the primordial cave. You will go north, you will go east, you will go south, you will go west. Oh, I picked that. Oh, I see. At this point, you will see absolutely nothing. Will you wander the true path? Yeah, I do. Let me just try it again. I'll wander. That's the primordial cave. Oh. I have to do all this again, sorry. This point you will see. Nothing. Not onto the true path. Oh. To understand crystallomancy, we must understand that all divinity is therapeutic, not paranormal. Over the years, there have been several scientific studies of the practice, and many come to the same conclusion. Crystal gazing is self-hypnotism. What you see in the crystal ball could simply be something you've forgotten or repressed. 1 is the divine, 9 is death, 6 is life, 3 is creation. Combining them tells us about which of the holy powers and visions within each person and how you could use them in creativity. This is then the year for creation at all costs, life or death. To those willing to see it, 1963 is the year of finality and new beginnings. I don't know what's going on. It's believed that the Babylonians were the first to divide the moon's phase into cycles of 4, which became what we know today as a week. They also developed a horoscope by assigning them to 7 classical planets: Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and the Sun. Okay. I don't know what that's about. Oh, there's more of them. Oh. Meteorites from the Pteritus oculus are still found on Earth to this day. In Rubrum Astronomica, Lucius writes, when the third eye passes us by, the world belongs to creators. It's time for beauty and chaos. An artist will be crowned. Oh shit. An artist will be crowned king. He will lead our victory over Mammon. He'll create items of great beauty. For a fleeting moment there will be harmony in chaos, but order will be restored and the night of the third eye end in blood. Artists will die or surrender to merchants. Mammon will not be denied. The artifacts of these nights will remain among us. I don't know what's happening. Oh, that's good to know. The Ace of Spades, also known as the Death card or Spadile, has been a symbol related to war, but also asexuality. Oh? In the French tradition of fortune telling, it would usually mean bad luck or death in one's future. Great, thanks. Thanks for that. A card fell out of the book. Ace of Spades obtained. There's no course more to occlumency than simply reading the reflections in the questioner's eyes. Over the next chapters, we'll learn about what an occlumencer can tell about a soul by the shape of their eyes, the colour of their iris, and how we can provide spiritual guidance by studying the nuances in a bloodshot eye and the structure of the vessels. Word note. Not here? Call me. 1798. Lorenzo. Cool, okay. Call the fortune teller on 1798. Right, I am on a real level. I'm going to go back to the phone so that I can call the mysterious man and tell him that somebody's fucking deceased in the garden. And then I might call the fortune teller just for fun as well. That save menu's so cool. What's in here again? Ooh. Ooh, that's interesting. Because didn't I just read about that? About those 7 celestial bodies? Interesting. Right, let me go down here. And then I can call. How do I call the guy? I can't remember. Is it... What's his room number? Please hold. His room is 1963. Okay. I feel like this is not the most riveting game to stream. I'm sorry for everybody watching right now. Right. 1963. Pronto. Hello, Bella. Have you found anything new in the house? Dead person. So it has come to this again. It always ends with something violent. A murder mystery, perhaps? Trivial, but cheese is cheese. We can still make it sing. I wonder how she died. Perhaps she fell out a window. What do you think? Listen carefully, senorita. Think about where she must have fallen from. Do you have anything else on your mind? Sometimes too much milk is too little milk for one canary. Do you have anything else on your mind? No. No se problema. Ciao. Where did she fall from? She fell from a window above, I imagine. And I can call the fortune teller on. She needs some milk. Truly. What's this going to do for me? I knew you would call. Of course you did. I know many things about you, sister. I know about your journey to Sulawesi Cave. I know the paths you will walk in that cave. First you'll go south. I'm writing this down. South. Then east. Then you'll go opposite of your first direction, which is north then. Then you will turn 90 degrees to your left and go forward. Oh, fuck. That is to the left will be west. Then you go in the same direction as your first direction, which is south. Then you go in the same direction as before. I assume that means south again. Lastly, you go in the same direction as your third direction. North. Now, I know what you will see there. Do you? I don't know. What will the cave painting to the left depict? Bro, I don't know. I'll depict a human. I see. What will the cave painting in the middle depict? Turtle. And lastly, what will the cave painting to the right depict? I have absolutely no idea. No, okay. No, that is not what you will see, sister. Oh, and you just hung up, okay. Right. Use the fortune teller's cave directions. That's what I will do right now. Yeah, call the fortune teller. Done that. Okay. Do I wish to know your future? Yes. The year is 1982. You will wander the paths of that primordial cave. I will go south. Then I will go east. Then I will go north. Then I will go west. Then I'll go south. Then I'll go south again. Finally, I'm going north. At this point, you will see cave paintings. Oh. What? Oh. Right, so I'm not just being a bit dense here. It is in this order. It is bird, then horse looking thing, then lizard. That's a horse, right, in the middle? That's a horse. Right, so I'm looking at it. It's over, like, there. Yeah. Okay. So then it is bird, horse, lizard. That's very cool, though. Like that effect, I love that. Okay. Let me go and ring up this guy then. No tells, I know. Right, calling him on 1798. I knew you would call. Now you'll tell me what you'll see in that cave. On the left, it's a bird. I see. In the middle, it's a horse. And lastly, it's a lizard. Yes. Now I see your immediate future. That something you need is in your bag. Obtain magic show ticket. I foresee that I will see you at the show, sister. Now, I know what to do with that. Meet someone at the show. I believe that was out in the front garden, wasn't it? I still don't know what that is. Oh, Sabine, there's a dog in this game. Where he? Look at he! He's so cute. I love him. Yeah. What is that, Berry? What are you suggesting? Batter up. Just because it's a dog, you're not going to club the dog to death, are you? Oh, Lorenzo! Because Lorenzo is the fortune teller. It's locked. There's a letter slot on the door. Tickets is scribbled in red paint below the slot. Well, I have a ticket now. Have a dog. I could never club a dog. I was a bit... Who is this Berry? Ooh, 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 ooh. Stuff is happening. Oh, I've got my eyes back as well. Magician. Seeing as you have a ticket, I suppose you are here for the show. Well... All I have left is this lice-infested wagon. Horse. The horse which carried it is dead as magic. I am now but a nameless vagabond with a violent past. Only the most red of roses could awaken my memories of my great show. Oh. I don't think I have that for you, mate. What he said, red of roses. Oh, right. I literally need to give him a red rose. I don't have one. I don't know where I would get one. What was up here? What is this place? What a drama queen, I know. It's locked. I have keys I can try. Nope. E key? No. It won't be that key, will it? No. Okay. That's something for later then. What a drama queen, truly. Anything here? No. Wait, the fountain's going. It wasn't going before, was it? Suspicious. Right, what did that guy say earlier? The first guy on the phone, I forget what he like wanted. Oh, where did you fall from? Is this game in Germany? It's in Europe. We know that. Why do you ask, Sabine? Oh, I've been here before. No, because there's an American dollar on the ground. Bolted from the other side. Okay. Because the text under hotel's German. Interesting. Well, it could well be then, yes. I also can't get in there. Sabine's on them details. Sabine is just so knowledgeable. Right, I've done that. Wall. What's from the other side? Window. I haven't gone this way for a while. What's down here now? Oh, yeah. It won't be. What, 1963, surely. Nope. Know the language of your neighbours. Ooh. Oh, do you mean literally country neighbours? Not who lives next to you? Oh, yeah. Missing script pages. Has anyone seen my lost... Has anyone seen my lost pages? Country neighbours, yes. Last seen in my typewriter, January 13th. The content has cosmic personal value. There's a substantial reward for finding all 9. Right, I haven't found any of those. Tell you your iPad screen fixed itself last week. Best friend, I don't think you told us it was broken. That's not fun. I'm glad you got it fixed. Well, I'm glad it fixed itself, rather. Have you been, like, iPadless and therefore drawingless recently? Because we know how much you like drawing. Just decided it wasn't broken anymore. Like, GK, I'm fixed. Like, half this year it's been across the glitchy pixels. Oh, no, that's awful. What's this way? Oh, yeah. Numbered books. I don't know. Like it wasn't a crack. It was the screen itself. Yeah. No, I get what you mean. That's weird. But I turned it on the other day and it was just gone. Well, I'm very happy for you if a little bit confused, but we take those. Shortcut. Locked door. I feel like I don't know where to go. West door. Wait, I have an idea, I have an idea. Where could she have fallen from? I'm so confused too. Where could she have fallen from? She could have fallen out of the window on this... Oh, I didn't like that. What was that? It's locked. I think the dead woman's key is going to get me in here. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. See, it appeared when you snapped your case back on, so you thought you damaged it. Oh, that is concerning. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm watching it on OBS because it's small. Oh, I didn't like that. I think I need some milk. I'm not happy. I'm only ringing it up now because using your iPad for the first time in a few days and you're still flabbergasted. That is so good that it's like working again. Why does the camera do that? Woman on the other side. I do not know the truth. I do not know if my earliest memory is mine. I'm severely uncomfortable. I remember when I was a little girl, my father started the construction of the Red Maze. I looked for it in our garden, but it was nowhere to be found. I came to accept that the structure did not exist in a natural way. Behind a mask, I secretly watched him work in my dreams. Then one night I heard sobs. My father was crying, his eyes were red. The maze was finished. Inside he had witnessed something dreadful. My father did not want me to see it. He shattered his maze into 9 parts and threw them out the window. My father was changed. In his eyes there was no joy to be found. Only fear. I was not allowed outside. Art was my only companion. I was left to play in the worlds I painted. Do you see the same maze as I? Let's take a little moment, friends. Yeah, hopefully it does stay fixed. I'm hoping it stays fixed. I remember when it initially happened, I had anxiety sickness for 2 weeks straight. Oh, I've had that. I had that with, like, remember... The bean! Also, the way it shows up my OBS, the word shape is on a new line. It just said, that's a penis. I was like, what, where, huh, what? But yeah, no, I got a little crack. Not even a crack, just like a how do you call it? I damaged the screen on my tablet. Like, if you remember my baking streams, that one I used, there's just a little scratch on it. There you go, a little scratch. And I was like, oh no, I fucked it. It was not good. It was not good. Right. White steel? Black steel? It feels so bad, doesn't it? Every stone ahead with a glass sibling in the mirror. A brother leaves, a sister shatters. Each a key to the past. Oh, that sucks, Sabine. I'm so sorry. Only a small portion of the inscription is legible. Man of the maze, guardian of past scripts. I feel like I didn't comprehend the first one. Every stone ahead with a glass sibling in the mirror. The brother leaves, the sister shatters. Each a key to the past. No thanks. I'm not happy. One thing I did read is that whenever you see anything with an owl mask, pay attention. Berry, shut up. I'm fragile, okay? What dreadful consequences have led you to the red maze? I know, I was so enthusiastic because I was like, it'll be fine. It's not scary. Little girl in a mask appears. Fuck that. Wandering here is a lonesome destiny. The quest to find the centre has lasted for over a century. You have wandered these broken trails a long time too. Shut up, I'm fragile. Right, me though, okay? Somebody add quote, please. You wandered these broken trails for a long time too. Time has come for you to find the centre. Perhaps it would finally set us free after all these years. Speak to us at any age should you wish to return. Oh. Find the centre of the maze. How about I don't? I must warn you before you return. When you pass through to my side, something passed through to your... Oh, fuck off. 9 terrible selves now roam the black and white hallways. Progress with caution. Moments not saved will be lost to time. No, I'm going back in, please. Right, what's that thing? Maze slab. Yes, please. Oh. No, I've seen shots like this in the trailer, and it's very cool, but, like, also no thanks. So if I take the maze slab, it shatters the screen. I mean, this is cool. Can I go in here and will I be there? I will, okay. I feel like I shouldn't be taking these. Yeah. Oh, no, it's really shattered. Well, I know, but like you've... Oh, see, I can't even navigate it properly now. Right, okay, so if I go up here... Then I can go here. And then I can break this. Okay, so there's only 9 screens of the maze. I understand that now. Including the center. Yes, please. Oh. Oh, it's mirrored as well. Oh, that is unpleasant. Right, okay, we're gonna go down this way next. Right, if I don't take them, it's gonna say, you need to take them all. Okay, what's in the treasure chest? Oh, money! Love that. What's that? Oh, it's so hacked. If I take it, does something happen to that weird square thing? No. Oh, I should have paid attention. I don't know where I am. I don't know, like, what I'm doing. Oh, okay. I found a way. Is this a Zelda game? Have I got all of them now? I think I have. Oh. I don't want to be here. I already don't want to do this. Ooh, okay. I'm actually okay with that. Oh, shit. Don't laugh at me. That way. Oh, I don't know where I'm going. What is down here? Nothing. So then this one. Hmm. No, because this is where I just was. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait, I can't even get through there at all. Oh, oh no. Can I get through? Is there any scope for me to just go way? Okay, there is. Yeah, that's what I want. Center gate, here we go. Oh. Oh, have a day off. Unlock the Mason's Gate. I have no idea how to do that. Absolutely no clue. I'm not tired, you're tired. I'm tired. I'll have a day off if the game doesn't want it. You've already got a day off tomorrow. Oh, that painting's empty now. It wasn't before. Right, it said when I first left the maze world, it said there are 9 somethings have come into your world. Say regularly, basically is what it said. Reach for toy blocks. Okay. Change toy block. I do actually understand this. Slightly because I did Google it. American dollar. Right. Yes, that toy block. Right, let me save, because if I start getting chased to this feckin' hotel by monsters, I'm, like, Alt F4ing the game. Oh, is it not here? Is it down here? It is down here, okay. Yippee! Okay. Now, I think I should go back into the secret altar thing. Oh, you can stop it with that. You can just stop it. I don't like it. Whee! She has. She's truly doing superhero landings. Right. So I need these names now. Pestilentia. Bellum. Oh, Joel's tweeted. There's a new Dragon Quest coming out this week. Sick. Love that. Right. Fames and Moors. Okay. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. Does that work? No. I thought I'd done something there. Oh, I've got mace slabs. They're like items. Okay. Oh, is it a W I need to put in? Yes, excellent. I obtained the Pestilentia coin. Oh. That's what the name is, right? I didn't mean to do that. Sure. Let me go to the other one. Oh, that's quite closed, isn't it? I was hoping it was going to be like... Wait. That? No. So it's to end up making an S shape is what I need. Fuck you. Ah, that would have worked as well. I doubt it's the U looking one. Like that, I doubt it. No. Yo, I thought this was going to be easy. Let me try a different painting again. No! That one is definitely Moore's. But that would be way too simple. Could it be... that? Ah! And the Moore's coin. No, easy for you. Right, I'm working on it, okay? So this one, the M. Oh. So the word that I'm looking for is bellum. Oh, it's a backwards B I need. So could it be you, but slow down? No. What do you mean, no? I don't see how it could be that. It isn't. Hmm. It needs to be a B shape, but backwards. What even looks like a B that isn't a B? Oh, is it lowercase? Is it a lowercase p? Ooh. Ooh, okay, 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 okay. So that means there's only one cube left. That's me right now, trying to solve this puzzle. I feel like it should be that. Sorry, I do keep making your brains work at 11 PM. Or even midnight for Sabine. If anybody's ever watching this who has played the game before, I am aware that there's a fifth block that I don't have access to currently. There are only 6 options. True, Sabine, but you can rotate them all differently. You can rotate each one 4 ways, so it's 24 options. And I'm not prepared to sit through all of them. Yeah, exactly. No. Hang on, let me just try something. Because unless that's the cube that I don't need. Because I've just had an idea. That looks very like a Y, doesn't it? That just looks like that. Yeah. Obtained the crucifix key. I don't know what the hell that's going to do for me. But I've got the key. Okay, so what I do know is there's a 5th one. A 5th block, but you don't get it at this point in the game. Right, I can't get through that door because I don't know the code. Stop that. Oh, no thanks. Oh, no. You can stop it. He do float. Right, is it going to come in here? Okay, I'm gonna let it hit me. Oh. Okay. We have a few details we cannot seem to get right. Please try to remember, Fraulein. Remember, Fraulein. I don't know what I remembered. Ew. Stop it. As if forgotten by time, motion has turned to stone here. Oh yes, German bad guys. Yes. How is it? Is this how it is remembered? Observe it carefully. Fate is in the details. He knows and sees both the substantial and the insignificant. Do not take his query lightly. Your survival lies in your response. Paint this scene in your memory and take action when ready to return to the inquiry. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is there's a house with a window and a chimney and it's in red. There's 3 blocks on the floor. Chessboard. Hi, Pa. Hello. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It says welcome. There's 2 people there. Yo, I'm severely stressed. Right. Do you remember? I remember it all. Very well. How many toy blocks were there on the floor? There were 3. Oh fuck. This is inconsistent with our information. Oh dear. Game over. Oop. Oh dear. I wonder how many blocks there were on the floor then. Okay. Hello. No, 7, Fraulein, thank you. You're alright, you guess. I hope you're okay, because, like, I know what that means. I hope you're okay, friend. Right, okay, fine. Yeah, hello. We have a few details we cannot seem to get right. Please try to remember, Fraulein. Oh, there are 3 on the floor, but there's a 4th one on the table. You fecker. You fecker. If it asks me a different question, I'm going to be mad. Yep. Scary Court of Owls lady. I love an 18. We do in fact know, yes. Do I remember? I remember it all. Very well. Oh, piss off. Different question. I don't think there were that many black ones. I think there's only about 3. The 3 was wrong last time. This matches our information. Yes. Yes. Okay, hotel, the basement, day. Oh, this is long. Oh, okay. The light bulbs in the ceiling blink. A garish room designed for sticking hotel guests' children in. Now the OCU3 computer takes up at least a quarter of it. A few boxes of toys, a couple of board games, and the pool table were crammed on the other side. The man holds the door for the woman. The man. I told the movers that they were carrying the rising sun of cinematic magic on their shoulders. so she should be in one piece. But best make sure, señorita. Why is this like a script? I don't know. The woman smiles and flicks a switch on the computer. They look nervously at the OCU3 humming. The man, is she dead? The woman takes a little time. Finally, the computer blinks and makes a noise as it boots. The man, let there be light. The man holds his arms up like a priest in mass. The man, when the hotel is open, the children play in here. But you won't be disturbed by them, señorita. Or anyone else, for that matter. We have the whole hotel to ourselves. The OCU monitor fires up and displays the word welcome in red letters. It is you who is welcome, technological creature. What a relief. Now, señorita, I have work that needs attending. We are not completely free of the monetary system yet. The man hurries to the door. He stops on his way out and nervously looks around. I'm not sure I'm allowed to tell you this. I wrote the script in an elevated state of being. Woman, you were inspired. The man, something else. I created, and I was in turn created. The woman, jokingly playing along. I see. The man, this project is the fish that will drink the proverbial pond. A last dance at the edge of the collective understanding. I'm glad you are part of it. The woman, I'm glad to be here. The man disappears. The woman enters a prompt on the keyboard, writing out a system diagnostic for the printer. Suddenly, the lights go out, and the OCU3 is the sole source of illumination. The woman turns around. The man by the door stands a stranger, a man wearing a cape and a top hat, the magician. He covers his eyes with his right hand, then ceremoniously raises his left and shows 3 fingers. The light comes back. He's gone. What? But yes, why is it like a script? I don't know. How's the game been? It's getting a bit tense. There's some, like, not jump scares, but some, like, I'm not happy with the images that are flashing up on my screen. But I'm still enjoying it, but I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what's happening. But oh well. And yes, I wish to be free of the monetary system. Truly, it's our worst invention. Obtained a script page. Oh! This changes things. Because I need to collect 9 script pages. So I just need to wander around until I find more of those things. And answer their riddles. Let me save. Let's play Extreme Slenderman. Let's not. Because I'm just a baby. Has it become a horror game? It's got some creepiness going on now. Which if I walk into another room, you might see what I mean. Let's go up the stairs. No, okay. I feel like I need to be in big rooms. No, okay. Wait, because I've got a page. Let me post it in his door. Yes. Can I just say, in real life, somebody is on my landing as I clicked and there was a knock on the door in the game and I just pooed myself. My God. Yes? Is it about the script pages? Just slide them under the door. Thank you, senorita. Social interaction is the scariest part. Well, truly, because I don't speak to my neighbours. Right, I don't know where else to go except back in the room with the scary ghost lady. So I'm going to go talk to the old lady first. See if anything happens. Electronic Art Symposium. The cafe. Photo exhibition. Mother, her sister and father. Hit OF's band. Name Italics. Eunice Project. I don't know, bestie. I just work here. Oh, the static. Oh. I don't have any cassettes, do I? Have you ever seen your own flashing in the window, thought it was someone outside? I don't really remember doing that ever. Right, back to this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening. I don't remember ever doing that. Right, so my eyes are flickering again now. But they stop when I'm not in that room. Well, I live up in the sky. What do you call the second floor? Do you go up one set of stairs or two? Because I go up two sets of stairs. So I'd hope I wouldn't do that. One set, okay. But that's still concerning, yeah. I don't know where else to go. That door's bolted, right? Yeah. I don't know the code for it. Is that one a padlock as well? Yeah. Let's try everybody's favourites. Let's try 18, what was it? 18, 70, 47. Nope. I don't know what or to where I'm meant to go now. Oh, that's here. Right. Okay. I've got access to a phone book. Please hold. That's a number I need. Let's call a lift engineer. Because God knows I don't see enough of them in my personal life. Right. 38, 84, 15. Lift engineer, I know, right? Be prepared for everything to get worse, actually. $84.15. Hausmeister GmbH, how may I help you? What do you mean, broken? Of course it is. They're tearing it all down. Are you calling from there? Who is this? You shouldn't be there. Hello? Ew. That is not what I expected to happen. Oh no. Senorita! When your horse barks, one has made a mistake. There was a misunderstanding about the elevator. It couldn't be trusted. It should be working now. Please, Senorita, forget about Horsemeister. That's a surprise. I wish it were that simple IRL. I can't move. My controller's died! No! No, not now! Not to keep you all in suspense, I'm sorry. The Maze Man got the controller, truly. Return to game. Ooh, you bought a new winter coat. Love that. Oh, where's this? Oh, the electronics company. Interesting. I'm not very happy down here. Electronics. Electronics. Oh. Supercomputer. Log into the supercomputer. Right. BIOS is version 9. Input username followed by enter. Input password followed by enter. Set memory sequence followed by enter. Oh, no thanks. What? Is there a Black Mirror symbol? Yes, there is. Did it? Login failed. Verity sequence could not be initiated. Finally, the Deus Ex Machina has arrived. The plot device that will solve our problems. Huh? Excuse me? Man? Is it working yet? Has it shown you anything significant? Does it know what happened? Forgive me, but this device makes me nervous, like the pan who sold the egg. The lighting is so cool. Also, hello. Hi, friend. Our entire project and future depends on it, señorita. It holds the final truth for us. We must find out everything required to operate it. Hi back, hello, how was the film? This is your most important task here. Buona? Buona fortuna, señorita? Film was good, good, I'm glad. Your titch, yeah. Right. No, I don't need to do it. So the magic poster does have symbols on it. And I do wonder if they are going to be the username. But even if it is, we don't have the further details. It's pretty entertaining, but not your first choice. Not your first choice, but still entertaining. That's good. That's a shortcut. Okay. Oh, an American dollar. Maybe you saw something. What? Also, where am I? Where the hell's this? You saw something in the game, Sabine? Locked. Sure, why not? Nope. Unlock the diamonds door. Oh, I see diamonds. Yes, you could be totally wrong. Please do feel free to share. Oh? The lyrics say, I am an old woman. I'm yesterday's news. Oh shit. E. Wait, I have an E key. I have an E key. Those lines on the posters, they line up with the place you need to place the block. I'm sorry, Blair, I'm sorry. Oh, it let me straight in. I don't know if I like that. Oh, I can save immediately. I don't know about place the block, Sabine. I don't know what you mean by that. It's locked. Nope. I don't know how you do these. It's a locked door. There's a scent of coffee wafting through the door. No, I don't, Sabine. No, I need another block. I need a block. I don't have the block, though. Scent of coffee wafting through the door. You're so good, Sabine. You're so good. Sure, why not? Let's try it. Crucifix for the coffee. No, no. Wait, Barry, are you in this game? Are you through that door? 1962. Okay. Locked. That is also locked. Coffee to me soon. Could do. Laser One Art and Entertainment System. Oh! Input directional code to activate development console. No, okay. Wait, there's notes here. Notepad. Ooh, okay. I can do that. I'm getting a laser one for Christmas. Do you? I love that. Okay, so it wants us to go up. Then right. Then down. Then right. Then left. Then left. Then down. Then up. There are many advertisements in the magazine. Fun. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes is a game. Enter the dream maze and escape the evil memories lurking within for use with bite-sized systems recommended 8 and up. Interesting. Right, directional code. So, up, right, down, right, left, left, down, up. I've got Nintendo Switch Online, besties. Let's go. Press any button to run prototype software. Oh! What the fuck is this? That's weird. Oh, the controls are so... Oh. They're not at all what I expected. Oh. Rave in remembrance of a modest being. Oh, the controls are a bit weird. I see. I got an American dollar. Huge. This is weird. It looks cool. Slay. Lorelei's in the Matrix. Oh, no. No thanks. Oh, 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 oh. You were supposed to remember some owls here. I do not know what's going on. Oh. Got an American dollar. Ah, Memory of the great white leaf tree up ahead. Do you remember your way around here? No. I don't know what's happening. Like, this is cool, but I don't know what's going on. Memory of the East this way. Casual little T-pose. Oh, I can't go this way. Okay, I can't go that way. Because it's debug software, I understand. Am I back here? Oh, no. Is this the same place I was at already? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, I've been in before, I think. Memory of the Lonely Grave up ahead. Well, the Lonely Grave has to be this, right? Memory of our thoughtful leader. I don't know what's happening. I can check level design. What? Oh. Oh, okay. Right, so if I go, excuse me, straight down. These controls are wonky, just like, trust me, bro, on this. Ah. These controls are fucked up. Oh, money. Money. Right. Okay, so those dots are NPCs, right? Ah, I see, okay. That's just odd. I'm here for it, but that is weird. So was that game Lorelei and the Laser Eyes? Yes. The brain is braining. So, we just played a game called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes on that console. Now we've just, and it looks very similar to us, right? We've just played a game that looks like our current situation on that console. But we've also just discovered a supercomputer. Are we actually in the Matrix? Is that what's happening here? Okay. That's plausible. I'm so confused. Oh, now the controls have got me like all bass backwards. Let's go upstairs. I don't know, but I'm concerned. The third eye hears all. Okay, does it? Okay, so there's nothing up here except this door, which I don't have a code for. Bass backwards, yes, yes. Ugh. Oh my god. Okay, I have explored. And I feel as confused as ever. Let's phone the guy. In room 1963. Got anything for me? Pronto. Ciao, senorita. What'd you find? If the flute blows smoke, there will be no dance. Is that all? Oh, thanks. Right. I don't know what to do anymore, friends. So, might that be a good time to leave it? What did Fortune Teller want? Meet someone at the show. Can I put those things back? Because were they maybe in the wrong places and I didn't realise? And like heal the weirdness? Let me see. You're sat outside watching the stars. Oh, I love that. I would come and sit with you, but we live too far away. Where do I go? This way. No, not this way. They're super bright tonight. Shall I go and have a look? Shall I go and stick my head out the window? I just want to find one of the pedestals. I want to find my little way to one of them. Any one of them. Screen's really bright too. I love that. It'd be a small meeting. Stop it. Oh, oh, oh. Is this where I need to be? Yes. Right, I'm southeast right now. Oh! Oh, it heals itself. Since we go in the wherever the fuck we are. Wherever we are, if we go here, we have glowy eyes. I'm so confused. Oh, no. No, Lorelei. I could talk to you. There you go, yeah, so she, like, turns our eyes on and off. But when we're in this room, our eyes are always a bit weird. Right, let me go and have a look out of my window. Just for funsies. But yeah, no, the game is weird. I'm gonna, if you can hear me, I'm going to turn my light off, so it's gonna get even darker in the webcam. Sorry, not sorry. Best friends, I cannot see a single star out of my window. There is nothing to see where I live. Not a damn thing. Oh well. Right. If ever we get another one of those Northern Lights things. Oh, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Yeah, if ever we get one of those Northern Lights visible in the UK warning things again, Barry, I am actually coming over. Just so you're aware. Oh, photograph. Yes. We need to go find a field. We actually do. It's in Discord. Okay. This is the music from the trailer. Oh, I love this music. Sorry, it cuts off the music when I do the thing. Pick and fit spam. Let me see. Pretty. Yeah, no, I can't see anything. Let's see. They are. I do in fact love stars. Stars when you went camping last year. Ooh, that would be good. This is an insane shot. What? In the game or what Barry put in Discord? Because like this game's weird. They're so good where you live as well. Ooh, love that game. The game's visuals are so impressive. Have I already tried to say Bella? Because I think she's me. There's one super rotten staring at it, can't stop staring at it. Nice. She's not responding. Okay. Well, oh, sorry, Sabine. Sorry, you're going to head out because you're very EP. Have a good stream. I appreciate you being here. Have a lovely night. See you tomorrow, Sabine, for Leighton Movies. I'm excited for that. Yes, movie night. Yes, yes. I'll figure out the situation with our Discord. What other keys have I got? A crucifix key. That's it. Okay, let me know time. I'm shooting for about when I start streams, which I believe is 10 PM for you. Roughly, that's when I think it'll be. Yes, there you go. I think about the usual stream start time, if that works for people. I could put a poll in Discord tomorrow of when works best for you all, because I actually don't mind. Right, let me ring the fortune teller just in case, but we will wind down the game soon and just start yapping because I enjoy it. That type's good. Okay. No one's answering. Okay. Yes, night Sabine, nighty night. Planning to go to the gym because you need to actually go to the gym. Blair, you've been saying to me that you can't go to Tesco without dying. Are you sure you want to go to the gym? As somebody that cares about your well-being, are you sure you want to go to the gym, Blair? Do you want to think about your answer for a minute? Yeah, you made it to Tesco, then you had to go and lie down. Are you sure about this? Anything in here? No. You forgot about that. Wait, the hat! There's a calling card hidden inside the hat. I am half a magician without you. May I be permitted the enchanting pleasure of entertaining you this evening? You complete me with an interesting cipher. Okay, interesting. So I happen to be in work tomorrow. Oh, okay. Because you don't know if you can cover your teaching at short notice. That's fair. Oh. A red rose would awaken. Recollection of magic. I don't have. Wait, my eyes glow when I'm near Lorenzo. It's your throat which is the problem. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh! Crucifix key. Surely. Yeah. I don't know if I want to be here, but still. The inscription reads 1708 to 1747. There's a hole in which something could be inserted. I'm very mature. Inscription reads 1924 to 1963. Are you happy? Are you happy? I hope you're happy. Right, I don't have things to insert here. Inscription reads 1932 to 2014. There's a hole in which something can be inserted. American dollar. Can I go in? An inscription circles a triquetra on the gate. Second and last, the youngest to pass, third and fourth, one who met their fate after 40 years, first and fifth, she who lived in 2 centuries. I think this game is very flexible with what year it is, Blair. I don't know what to do with that information. Honestly, my brain as well. I feel like I shouldn't play this late at night. Well, I want another maze head to show up. I want another one of those things. I've already been in my cards, fine. Right, I might go back in the hotel and save, and then we can just yap a little bit if we want. %29.7%. Interesting. I do love this menu music. I think it's so cool. Yeah, it is. The game is... I don't know how long it is, but... Yeah. Yes, apparently it is. Okay. Let me put us back to just chatting. Some music. I know what music I need. Okay. Also, because we finished the story game, everybody mind your eyes. Oh. That was a bit awkward, wasn't it? There we go. Look who's back. Bright and purple. What a sleigh. Okay. I am enjoying this game. I feel like I'm fully stuck all of the time. Like, I'm not really making plans. Oh, sorry. And you, apparently. Whee! Okay. The issue is... certain things I have to put the filter on the actual thing, like the webcam. I have to put it on the thing, but I can also put it on the scene as a whole. So like now it'll hide out, it'll make everything black and white, and then not. But for the other scene I have to do it all individually. And it like transfers between the scene. It's a pain. But it's the things I do for your entertainment. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, yeah, so what I was saying, I feel like I'm enjoying the game, but I have no idea what I'm doing at all. Like, just not a clue at any point, at any stage. I'm like, what do? But that's okay. Actual horror game, literally a puzzle game not meant for children. Like, what? What? We're easy breezing it like Leighton. Truly. Truly. Also, we ain't spelling that right, but that's okay. It's late. I love and support you, Barry, but... I realize that now, okay. I had to, okay. Breeze. Yeah. There you go, thanks. I am happier now. As a person, I'm happier. I'm still inside. Okay, love that. I mean, you found trying to do the shrines. Oh, okay. Okay. I feel like the shrines in Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't vibe with them as much as in Breath of the Wild. I don't know. I feel, they were alright, but I don't know. I don't know. Guys, do you think we collectively can make Berry absolutely cackle while she's out in the back garden? Do you think we can do that? Because I don't know if I've like got it in me to be that funny on command. But that's like... I don't know, I feel like being a menace. Just do a BuzzFeed quiz that says my soulmate's name begins with a P, that'll probably set her off again. You're not vibing with Tears of the Kingdom as much as Breath of the Wild. As a game, I do. I do vibe with it as much. But... oh, there you go, okay. Right, because we did BuzzFeed quizzes 2 days ago. I don't know how many new ones there'll be. But thank you for redeeming that, Blair. I don't know how often new quizzes get put up. Yeah, so I feel like my time with Breath of the Wild was so incredible. And then Tears of the Kingdom was a little bit less so. Just because I've already explored that world. Which, you know, yeah. No longer in the just explore the world, and now you're on the side quest check off. Ah, okay, that's fair. Yeah. Okay, let's see if BuzzFeed can guess my age based on what I consider to be dating red flags. Did the Master Koga quest line? Oh yeah, that's a good one. Boop. 20 years. Yeah, no, for sure, it wasn't completely new anymore. Oh. You can see, yeah. I totally didn't have anything up on screen then, no. Right. Oh, so I literally just pick as many as I feel. Right, okay. I do love it, but I haven't finished it. Oh, I have. Right. Which of these behaviours some people consider red flags do you think are absolute deal breakers? Okay, that's what we're going for. Absolute deal breakers. Badly about exes. I feel like I could live with it. Frequently late. I could kind of live with it. Doesn't initiate paying for anything. Listen, I'm broke as fuck. I'm broke as fuck. Bad at texting or calling back. Listen, those of you that have texted me know the speed at which I hit you back. So it's gotta go, I'm sorry. Leaves in the middle of arguments. Doesn't like my friends? What the? Who doesn't like my friends? Have you met my friends? As a family that's too involved in their life, I could live with that. Watches a show or watches a game or show on their phone during the day. Yeah, no. Bad gifts, I could deal with it. Silent treatment when upset. There's taking a break and then the silent treatment. Tracks my location. I think there's a healthy way and an unhealthy way. Doesn't like animals. I can fully live with that. Has a lot of... I don't understand that. Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. I don't mind having, snap maps on. Forgets important dates. Restricted borderline sensitive. Yeah, no, you're gone. I feel like Oh, refuses a cuddle. Get fucked. Get fucked. Mrs. Pauline, that's fine. You saw me a lot. I can deal with it. I think it's like a bit, yeah. Like Snap Maps is so okay. Stalker is like, no. Tries to control my finances. Yeah, you can get a bit. Oh, you've had enough drama with that. Oh dear. Oh dear. Talks about marriage right away. There's like, you know, you can slow your roll and establish like boundaries. I'm not binning you off for that. Cheat up your partner. Goodbye. Has no hobbies. I can live with having no hobbies. I don't know if you did, you know. I'm obsessed with looking at himself in the mirror. Yeah. Keeps them space. Messy. I can't comment. Overly picky eater. I can't comment. Has road rage. Depends how ragey. Windshield stuff. Yeah, that'll do. 16. No, I'm not 16. Gossip when we see each other next. Okay. Okay. Actually consider your age based on what you consider. Well, that's what I just did. I can scientifically guess your relationship status based on how you answer these. Was this the crap one that's like, are you in a relationship? Oh, the Fortnite one. Yeah. No, I'm not playing the Fortnite one again. Not the Fortnite one. Never again are we doing a Fortnite BuzzFeed quiz. Did I already do this one? I think I did, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, no, I did this one. Right, I'm going to have to go into an incognito tab on a real level because it keeps popping up my fucking email address on stream. No. Behave yourself. Yeah, I don't think BuzzFeed quizzes refresh very often. But that's okay. Ooh. I feel like the BuzzFeed crowd and the Doctor Who crowd doesn't pop up too much. Doesn't cross over, sorry, too much. You need to split on which Doctor Who revival series reigns supreme, so I'm letting you decide. Okay. Start the game. Okay, so Series 5 is better than Series 3. Series 6 is better than Series 10. Oh, I haven't even heard of Sporkle since I was in school, you know. Series 9 is better than 14. What do you mean, surprisingly? I love Series 5. Series 2 is better. Sporkle's a throwback. Oh. Right, because Series 7 has, like, A Town Called Mercy, which I really like. It has Angels Take Manhattan, which I love. But then it also has, like, Hyde and Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, which I can't be arsed with. Actually, though, to be fair, it saves it at the end with Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor. Whereas Flux is a bit shit, except the one Weeping Angels episode. So, no, Series 7's taking it. Oh, Series 4. Series 7 is split in half, yeah. Series 8. Right, so now it's pitting them against each other. Okay. I enjoy Series 6 more. Fight me. You're not missing much, Blair. You're not missing much at the end of it. I have a lot of love for Series 9, okay? And if you include the Christmas special, yes, Series 9. Series 4, easy. Series 6, yeah. Series 9 is so good, it is. But that is rude. Because, like, does Series 4 have any shit episodes? I don't think it has a single stinker. Yeah, personally, I'm not the biggest fans of Midnight and Turn Left, because they're quite stressful. I love the specials. Like, the specials are still really cute. Even, like, Planet of the Dead, which is a bit rough. No, Series 4. The final Series 6, Series 4. You see, the problem is Series 6 does have a couple of rough episodes. Series 6 has a couple of rough ones. But Series 4 is just all good. Also, I can, once again, besties, smell an illegal substance. Series 4. Like, Series 4 has none of my favourite episodes. That's not fair. But, like, my top 5 episodes, I don't think any are in Series 4. But Series 4 is consistently just so good. It's so good. 25%. 25, yeah. Whose side am I taking in the Doctor Who debates? Go on then. Who's my favourite Doctor? Daddy Capaldi. Only 8% of people have good taste. Wow. Wow, only 8% of people. Favourite companion's Amy Pond. Jenny saying being your favourite. That is such a good shout though, honestly. Oh, rip Bill. Sad times. Oh, Dan's been done. 0%. Which villain is my favourite? Well. Yeah. Oh, Big Slade, let's go. Absolutely killing it. No, I'm not having the song. Sure. Which one-time villain should return? Satan from the Satan pit. Oh, love that. Just one of your favourite episodes. I love that episode so much. And, like, that counts in Series 9 as well, so it's like, ooh. Yeah, no, that is good. Right, one-time villains that should return. I don't feel like we need to see the Flood again. I kind of love it, but I think the Flood can just... We've done that. We've had the Flood. Vashta Narada are very interesting, and I'd love to see them... I'd love to see the Vashta Narada on the offensive. Because, like, they were just chilling. The Boneless looks so cool. But I couldn't tell you what their plan was. To be fair, I can't tell you what their plan was. It's just funny, that episode. It's just funny. It's so good. You know, I want to see Satan back in Doctor Who. I want to see Satan come back. Interesting. But I do get the Vashta Narada as well. They're very cool. Which of the following plot lines do you think they should have pursued further? It almost got a swear word. Oh, yeah, no. Well, she mouths it. She mouths the whole word. It doesn't even cut away from that. I don't know what they should pursue further. That's true, yeah, it's bold, isn't it? I don't feel like we need many of these. Like, because the Sandman cliffhanger, I would love to see another episode of that, to be fair. But I actually really don't like the original episode. So it's like, eh. But I'd love to see George Tennant come back. Yeah. Yeah. No, we want George Tennant back, don't we? So we didn't get more River and 12. Yeah. I would always love to see them together. Who's your generation hurt the most? Fucking 12s. 12s makes me sad to this day. Oh, Ted, get a grip. Get a grip, Ted, be the saddest. 12 has it the worst. And I'll die on that hill. Get a grip. Which Doctor Who spin-off is my favourite? I mean, it is the Sarah Jane Adventures. It is. I love Sarah Jane Adventures. And finally, who do you think should be cast as the 16th Doctor? Well, 10 accepted his fate, apart from the whole, I don't want to go. Apart from that at the end. He did accept his fate. But 12 just, like, lost everything and everyone he cared about. And then just died. And it's like, oh. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't know who half of these people are. But, like, I feel like Henry Cavill... I've never heard Henry Cavill talk about Doctor Who. The episode after the Husbands of River Song. What, the superhero one? No, sad he is, yeah. That's the thing, like, when Capaldi's sad, I'm just like, oh. Oh. I love him. I love him. Right, yeah. Henry Cavill, I've not heard him talk about Doctor Who, so I don't know, but I know he's very passionate about certain sci-fi things. Interesting. And we've never had a Doctor that's like a unit, have we? So that'd be interesting. Cumberbatch, he's done Sherlock, close enough. Florence Pugh, I've never considered Florence Pugh for Doctor Who. Michaela Cole, I only know her from like Black Mirror. And she was good in that. Yeah. Richard, I don't need that for my Doctor. I don't need it. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I've not seen her in much, and the only things I've seen her in, she doesn't play characters that I like. So, yeah. Michael Sheen. Who doesn't love Michael Sheen? It's Michael Sheen. Lydia West, I don't know who that is. Ollie Alexander. I know the name, but like nothing. You're on 8%, you gotta go back inside. Oh, curse the phone battery making you go back in. Right, okay. On a real level, here, Michael Sheen or Tom Hiddleston for Doctor Who. Sheen. I'm giving it to Sheen. I'm gonna be real here. Yeah, Michael Sheen! I don't want to. Go back inside. You need to go to sleep. It's freezing cold. I don't have a third option. Gotta go sleep. No worries at all, friend. Thank you for being here. I know it's been a lot of weirdness going on today, but I appreciate you being here. It's 6 degrees outside. Well, you're just a warm person, aren't you? So I suppose it doesn't really bother you, but like, go inside, friend. It's bed, Berry. Blair. It's bed. There you go. Easy. Blink. Well, it's from... Gotta be from Cold Blood, right? Oh, it's from fucking 42, innit? Heaven Sent. Oh! Hellbent. That must be Hellbent, right? Yeah, Hellbent. Probably be from Doomtown? Boomtown, sorry. Oh, it is Town Called Mercy. Yeah, I remember. Oh, that's from a scene that fucks me up from Doctor's Wife. Enter the world. Journey's End. Oh, look at Baby K. Baby Gemma Redgrave. Power of 3. Apparently I don't remember this as much as you thought it did. I do. 12 out of 12. Thank you, I don't have a life. That's the one you like, Blair, I think. The Neil Gaiman one with the TARDIS becomes a person. I scored better than 100% of quiz takers. I'm sick, me. Thank you, I don't have a life. I used to watch Doctor Who a lot. Actually, I need to rewatch like a lot of it. It's high on your favourites. See, it's not for mine because that one scene with Rory just fucked me up when I was like 10 years old. That I like, for a long time, just did not rewatch it. I just did not. What, Doctor Who or that specific episode? Oh, go on, quiz to reveal which Doctor Who companion I am. Sure thing. Oh, it's devastating. It's scary though because Rory's so nice. Choose a colour. I don't know. Sure, why not? Style. Casual. I describe myself. Shall I know this is made by an American, but no. Pick a room interior. Ooh, I like room interior ones. I don't really like any of those. Because like that's too much, but that's not enough. I feel like, well, it was that I knew Ren and clung to Ren to get away from Joe and then got to know you like through that. But then, yeah, like mutual interests and stuff like that as well. Fine, simple and cozy. Choose a car. In America, are they called bugs? Is that car called a bug in America? Mimi, if you're lurking, this is your time. We need you. Is that called a bug? Is that car called a bug? Oh, yeah, no, for sure you were. Yes. VW bug. I genuinely, please go back to lurking. You're so okay. You're so good. A bug. That's foul. Sure, I'll have a Camaro. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. I mean, it'd be like that, I guess. It's actually foul. Yeah, we call them Beetles. We call them VW Beetles. I've never heard them be called a VW Bug. That's foul. Favorite genre of movie? Are those probably action? You're an artist. Now, if I told you I didn't have a single song by any of these people on my playlists, But the only one that's ever been on my playlist is Taylor Swift. So I have to go for Taylor Swift, don't I? Favorite video game? Oh. 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 I've probably put more hours into Minecraft. I'll take that. I will take the best boy, Rory Williams. I will take that. I love him. He's so good. Berry, shush. Right, y'all that don't watch Doctor Who, this is a win. Like, this is the best option. If you want to be anyone, you want to be him. Because he's just a cutie patootie, is what he is. Huge W, thank you. Thank you. Cutie patootie that can pack a crush. Did you actually mean it? Oh, that like, yeah. That's. Is it weird to say that's a good crush to have? Like, I know it's a crush and that's what it is, but like, well chosen. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. How normal am I opinion? Sure. Which regeneration is my favourite? My autism needs clarification. What? Does that mean their final story? Because it's 12 then. Normally I have ass taste, so you'll take it when you can. I'm not making any comments. Nothing's getting made there at all. I know you can see me change the music, I'm sorry, but I'm not having City in the Sky right now. Right, you'll need to get a grip. 61.6 thousand people, you need to get a grip on yourselves. It's time to move on. Oof, rough for the 6th Doctor. But that's fair enough. He's my favourite companion from 2005 onwards. Oh, if Sarah Jane's a choice. Oh, don't do that to my girl. Don't do that to her. But then it's Amy Pond. The dog is still scary. They're still enjoyable. I still like them. I know, only 1%. That's just rough. That's just rude. Who's my favourite? Oh, it's the Weeping Angels. But like, oh, look at them. Oh. Yeah, that's expected. Very expected. Surprised the silence is so high. Over like the Daleks and Cybermen. Really? Really? Interesting. Which Moffat episode was the best while Ozzy was... It's a classic for a reason, I'm sorry. It's a classic for a reason. But then, Silence at the Library was just so good. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I just love the character from, like, her time on her own show. Yeah. They are. I mean, I love, like... I don't want to go on a quoting rant about Doctor Who, but I love when, like, the silence, like, bursts through the... Like, that wooden door and starts threatening Rory. Like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Wish they'd expand the church. Yeah, that was, like... Well... I actually saw something today, which I think I'd heard before, that said that last episode of Doctor Who, of Matt Smith, Stephen Moffat wanted to do a whole series, like set grounded on that planet, rather than just mush it together, but then Matt Smith decided to make that series his last, so he was like, oh, we can't do that. Better make it all in the Christmas special. So, like, I understand. I do understand that. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh. All my trauma in one BuzzFeed question. No. No. Heartbreaking moment. Oh. 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 See, if 12 was on here, I would pick 12. I am torn. I am torn, honestly. Because, like, that's so rough, but I feel like that had a bit longer. I don't care, then. Amy's my parent. Amy and Rory are my parents on Doctor Who, okay? Satisfying moment. Rory punches Hitler. If you've never seen Doctor Who before, I'm not going to tell you anything. Rory punches Hitler is insane for Doctor Who. I wouldn't call any of these, like, satisfying. What the fuck do you mean, Blair? Expand on that. Right now, please. What? Oh, is your classmate's dad an actor? That's what I was, like, not trying to say, because I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be true or not. That's amazing. Your classmate's dad played Hitler in Doctor Who. Not in Contact, okay, yeah. No, that's fair. I get what you mean, but, like, whoa, that's cool. I wouldn't really say any of them are satisfying, like... That's... I mean, I imagine not, maybe no. Maybe not. Like, I want to give it to Rory punching Hitler. The end of this scene is phenomenal. Sure. Sure, why not? What's cooler? The coat. The coat's so cool. Oh, best Christmas special. No competition. Rory punching Hitler sounds iconic. He just whacks him. I can't remember why. Does Hitler pull his gun out and Rory just like absolutely wallops him? It's so good. The Dr. James one. Oh, this is an old quiz. I mean, we could tell it was an old quiz from the where it cuts off, but like, it's an old quiz. Yeah, no, he for everybody else, he punches Hitler in the face and then locks him in a cupboard, where he just stays for the rest of the episode. Hitler's just locked away. It's like sensational. Barry, do you want to watch Doctor Who? Oh. Sorry, not to jump scare anybody. I think that was the intention. I don't think they ever got there on screen. I don't think they ever showed it off. If you can't identify more than half of these Doctor Who aliens, I'm revoking your British card. Oh, here we go. If you could relate to at least 15 things on this list, you're obsessed with Doctor Who. Yes. No. Yes. No. Well, no, because it's a TV show. No. Well, no, because I don't go to parties, but, like, maybe. No. 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 Yes, absolutely yes. Yes. That's like meh. Nah, no. Josh. Okay, that's the end of the list. So, let's just yap. Thank you for humouring me while I do all of that. Where are we, Terry? Right, y'all, we should all collectively go to bed, you know. Like, all of us, we should go to bed. I would like to do that. Thank you very much. I was having a look. Up until recently, Megan Hertz was live. And I was like, oh my god, I could raid Meg. This is, like, huge. Because I could go raid Meg, and Meg's got, like, lots of viewers, and that would be, like, scary, but also really cool. No. No, Meg is not anymore. Meg is no longer alive. Should we have a sleepover? What, now, Barry? Because the door is, figuratively open. Okay, cool. Should we all pile into mine and watch Doctor Who and... I'm not going to say anything if it's a group setting, because that's weird. Anyway. But for real, I would love to watch Doctor Who with any of you. Exactly. Shush. Shush. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Blair, no. We're shutting this down. Not on stream. Mimi, fuck off. We're not doing this. No. Don't get me flustered on stream, please. Thank you. Thank you. Of course Mimi comes out of the woodworks at that moment. Of course you do, Mimi. Of course. Oh, of course you've got that ready as well, haven't you? Of course you do. You just have that ready to deploy at a moment's notice. Okay. 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 This is fine. Everything's fine. Well, Berry, I keep telling you to come round and you've not turned up, so that's on you, okay? That it's not happened. I like that game. I really enjoyed the game. I don't know when it's actually coming out. But it's a fun game. I would like to play more of it. What a vibe. What a vibe is this song. Beadle, innit? Beadle. Maybe I want to play Healthcare, okay. Well... I don't have a comeback that I'm going to say on stream. Nice topic change, Barry. Your star's yellow now. Yay! You hit 9 months today. I'm so happy. Yes, hi, not hear Mimi. Hi, hi. I hope you're having a good, restful, relaxing evening. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate it. This is reminding me of another song. Is it just the shop from Ocarina of Time? But like, I swear I'm so bad with music. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's coming back to me now. This is right? Yeah, it is. What the fuck was that? That was not it. There we go. Oh, of course that was pinned. Of course it was pinned. It gets put in so many videos, I know. Including my own. Link to my YouTube. There. Including my own. Oh. Yay! Cute. I like that one. You know what I want to watch? This has come out of nowhere, I'm sorry. You know what I want to watch? I want to watch Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Again. I want to sit down and watch that film. Because that film's so good. I might do that in my week off. Watch that sometime. It's been a while since I watched it, and by a while I mean like a number of months. Which for me is a long time to like not watch one of my favourite films, but I need to rewatch it. Barry, go to sleep. Fucking hell, you work tomorrow morning. Go to bed. And don't say, yeah, I have the rest of the day off, because I don't care. You have to wake up early. There you go. Blair knows what's up. Blair, go to bed. I hope you have a great night's sleep, and I hope you feel a bit better tomorrow. And, yeah, I hope work isn't too bad, and yeah, I hope you're looking after yourself, friend, because you deserve to. Is that your bedtime? Is your bedtime half 12 when you have to wake up at like 6? Girl, no. I was hovering over the timeout button, but I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, absolute cut off. Go bed. I have to deal with first years. Oh, that sucks. Never usually get to that point. Friend, I appreciate being here. Go to bed. I will end the stream, like, now. Like, I'll do it. You'll tank this whole stream, Barry. I'm not afraid. You used to be able to do it when you was like 16 to 20. Oof. Oof, we're all old now. We're old. Ugh. No. Don't know what happened. Now I need to eat. Right, I've needed to eat all my life. I like. Well. I always like to get a good like 8 hours of sleep. But when I don't get it, I am actually alright. Because like today I didn't get it and I'm fine. But in my head I'm like, no, 8 hours. I need it. You know what I need to do? I need to eat my apple. That's what I should do. I'm not saying that you have naps in the day. For a little bit, I turned into a napper. When I had a morning shift, I'd come home and just absolutely KO myself. But then, 2 o'clock like clockwork, you're out. Love that. In lockdown, I used to wake up at 2 o'clock. Oops. It's fine, right? Everything's fine. You took over 10, yeah. Unless you had 9 AM, oof. Just rude, honestly. Rude of them. Oh, no, I so am as well. Well, I think I am. I don't know. Because I always do alright getting up. But then I have, not to point fingers, I have certain friends that require me to stay up late. So it's like, well, you know. It's me. Hi, Mimi. Hello. Hi. It's not just you, but yes, it is partially you and also Vic and a bunch of other friends. But like, I love you. America, yeah, oh Sam. Your social life would die for a job that required bedtime like mine does. Right. I think I've told you this before. That, like, I used to do 2 closing shifts and 3 open shifts. And then somebody asked if I could swap, so I'd do 3 closes and only 2 opens. Then the person I swapped with left the company, and I was like, I'm just going to not try and get that morning shift back, so then I can have another late night. Then, then somebody that does a close left, and I straight up, like, pounced. I didn't pounce on my manager, shut up. But, like, I pounced on that opportunity to be like, can I have that close? Can I have that? Because then, that was my last one as well. Then I didn't have to wake up early at all, ever. And it was, like, perfect for international friends and for staying up late. But yes. Also, Black, go to bed. Wish you could make more stream, but your job is not as forgiving. It's so okay, friend. We are genuinely wrapping up as soon as you... Yeah, as soon as you will stop yapping to me, like, stream's done, we're going. So, please, go to sleep, it's so okay. He has to agree first. I have to agree to that first, and I do not agree. No. Nuh-uh. I may have dreams about him, but no. 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 For context for literally everybody else, literally my manager showed up in my dream last night, and I was like, no. No. No one clip that. Nah, I can delete the clip. Let's just not do that. Let's not do it. Nuh-uh. No. Barry, go to sleep. For that comment, I could time you out so that you're forced to go to sleep. But I won't. Mirror dreams back. Right. We've talked about my very literal dreams before, okay? Because, Barry, I've had dreams with you in it as well, so... tread carefully about what you say, or you're going to open yourself up to... Browse indeed, there you go. Yo, I haven't had a sweet all stream. How's my throat still alive? I'm sure having Haribos at 1 in the morning's fine, right? Nothing bad could come of this. As long as Don Paulo is the side piece, not the real deal. Babe, you're always the real deal. Always, friend. Always. Wait, no. Let me change my answer. Don Paulo's not even the side piece, because... No. Me saying my first statement was not an admission of Don Paulo being a side piece. Let me just clear that one up, Your Honour, because no. Right, friends. Addressing the thing, because I've not made a formal Discord announcement yet. Tomorrow, we are not having a stream, but we are having a Discord movie night. We're having the first Snow Bear Discord movie night. I was thinking of starting around the same time as I stream, which would be 9 PM, or for a certain memes, it would be 5 PM. No, 4 PM. So like, I know it's not great for one of us, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. But like, I don't want it to be too late then for Sabine, because I know Sabine really wants to watch it as well, and it's like, We could just watch it twice. Should we just do that? Should we just loop the video? Let me do that. I don't want to be too late for Sabine. I could start at 10 PM / 5 PM for Mimi. How long is it? It's like an hour 40, right? Yeah, it's an hour 40. Descalé, you pompous ass. Love that. I can't wait for that line in the film that's very definitely in there, I'm sure. Got to factor in the yaps. Yeah, but it's a Discord one. So, like, we won't be yapping. It'll just be like, you will shut up and you will watch. And then we'll yap in Discord afterwards. It's so definitely real. Yeah. I wasn't, as a lot of us are here, I wasn't necessarily planning to do a VC while we watch it. Because I know, like, when I've done ones with Vic before, it's been like we just type in the text chat. I wasn't thinking of like putting that on your, having a voice chat, because I think, we all at 10 PM we all just want to sit and watch and type, don't we? I know I talk, but like I'm sure you all don't want to be doing that. So like, yeah, exactly that as well. Because your voice is knackered. I'm sure, certain people live in houses with other people where they'll be asleep. So like, I feel like we should maybe not do the VC, but we can be all in the thing. It will require you to join the VC, but of course it will mute you right away. We won't hear you. It's all okay. Yes, that's the plan. We're going to watch the Leighton movie tomorrow evening. Plan. Tick. Movie night done. I did actually find... I need to pass this information on to Twinkly Tor. I have actually found the Wild Robot on perhaps a slightly unscrupulous site. I know Vic loves the film. I love the film. Just... yeah, I have found... I do have access to the film, is what I think I need to say. I will still probably go see it at cinema, to be honest, again. Because I love the film. But I know Vic was talking about doing a movie night of it at some point. I'm like, that's not unattainable. Right, we need to go to bed. We need to go to bed. So, tomorrow, Discord movie night. I'm busy on Wednesday. I'm meeting up with Potato. And then, maybe on Thursday? Might stream again on Thursday, just for fun. I feel like I haven't streamed Zelda in a long time. So I might... I don't know if I should progress Lorelei off stream. Because I feel like it's... if I'm just getting stuck, that's like, eh. But then... yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do for Lorelei. I don't know. But next stream will be Zelda. We're gonna do loads of good stuff. And yeah, probably Thursday. That's what I'm thinking. That is true. We do just yap until I'm unstuck anyway. Because I just, yeah, like yapping with you all. I like it. Right. This is happening. I'm putting a what's it called? Putting a block on. That's not, that phrase doesn't work, but basically, yeah.
Go to bed.
Go to bed, everyone. I'm here for the yaps. I genuinely could stream until 3 in the morning just yapping to you all, but that's not what any of us need right now, so we shall go to bed. Because it's what we need to do. Okay. We're gonna do that. Again, I'm not raiding people. Like, I should raid people more. Yeah, Berry, and you know what's, like, 6 hours away? Your work shift. Go to bed, Berry. You're not convinced you're going to sleep. I'm sorry, friend. I'm sorry. I hope you can get some good rest. Yeah, and just that you feel better soon, because it sounds rough. It sounds rough what you're having right now. Okay, I will keep yapping unless I force myself to stop. So, we're not going to raid. I should raid, but I won't because I'm scared. So, thank you for being here. I appreciate your company so much. And I'll see you tomorrow, but then on Thursday as well. Okay. Bye.
Squeak.